Hello and welcome to my podcast. My name is Kathrin Wersing. I am 43 years old and I live in Germany. I started this podcast nearly 2 years ago because I was diagnosed with Parkinson's. And since then, I've been collecting stories of people with PD who managed to live their life in a positive way, and also stories of people who help those living with the disease. After I was able to talk to 40 inspiring people from Germany, Austria and Switzerland last year, my focus this year is on how Parkinson's is seen and treated in other countries around the world. Though I am concentrating on the positive sides, it's important for me to emphasize that Parkinson's is a serious disease and we all know the challenges, worries and fears on bad days. Yet each of us has also strategies, resources, and helpful thoughts that we can pass on to others as a way to help. In my Parkinson's Around the World series, I've already spoken with people from Iceland and Uganda. And today I'm traveling to the USA to meet Margie Alley, a great and inspiring woman who I had the pleasure to meet in person at a table tennis tournament in Germany a year ago. So I hope you enjoy this interview. Hi Margie, I'm so happy to have this interview with you today. I met you a year ago at the very first athletic competition of my life. And I have to admit it, unlike you, I have never been a sports person, but due to my Parkinson's disease, I started to play table tennis. And so we met in September 2021 in Nordhorn at the very first Ping Pong Parkinson German Open. And after speaking a few sentences with you, it was clear to me that I really have to invite you to my podcast. And here you are. I'm so excited talking to you. Welcome, Margie.
Thank you. Well, I am so happy to be available to speak to you.
So you live in New York City or nearby?
About 20 miles north of New York City. So in the suburbs. It's called the suburbs of Westchester County. So it's just north of New York City.
Yeah, and we have a time gap of 6 hours, I think. And here in Germany, it's afternoon, and in New York City and nearby, it's just morning. And nevertheless, I hope you can answer my first question, which is always in my podcast. What have you already laughed about today?
I had to laugh about this. I went for a walk with my friend, and, there was a time crunch because we wanted to make sure to get back in time and set up and everything. And the one time that her dog decides to run off and get lost. And it just is like, but wait, we have to find the dog. I have to be on the interview. And I was laughing because, I knew it wasn't that big a deal. We could delay it. I could always get in touch with you. But it's like ironic, right? That right when you want to be on time for something, you just, something happens beyond your control. And I've learned to laugh about these things because otherwise I'd be crying a lot. There's a lot of that happens when you have Parkinson's though.
That is true. Sometimes it's really better just to be laughing than worrying or being sad about it.
Yeah. I'm trying very hard to laugh at things like that.
Okay. So do I, yeah. When we started talking about the topic Parkinson's, Margie, you were diagnosed with Parkinson's disease when you were 48. And now it's 10 or 11 years later?
Yeah, 10 years.
10 years, okay. And looking back from now, how did you experience that time and how were your feelings?
Well, I wasn't laughing back then, I'll tell you that. I think I really didn't understand what was going on because I thought it was an athletic injury. Like you said, I was a big athlete. And my first symptom was, I didn't know it at the time, but my foot was cramping. On a cruise with my family, I went for a run on top of a boat. One of those big ships, they have a track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I always run in the woods, so it was very different. The boat had a hard bottom, and my foot would periodically like cramp up.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really strange because it never did that before. And so I attributed it to the hard floor. And I would walk it off and then it would go away. But even when I got home from that trip, when I started running in the woods again, it was doing that. I thought it was a foot injury. And, that was the first sign back when I think about it. Back then, I didn't know it, but it was probably dystonia.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was a long path from that day to when I got diagnosed.
How long did it take for you to get diagnosed?
Geez. So that was probably 3 years prior.
Okay. That's a long time.
I was just kept on injuring myself, which is weird because I'm pretty coordinated and I'm in pretty good shape. I was a tennis player. All these kind of injuries that didn't make sense. And so, I ended up having a lot of surgeries. Mm-hmm. And then I had to recover from the surgery. So I was in physical therapy a lot and nothing made sense. And finally, I did end up getting a foot surgery.
All right.
Because they said it was a neuroma, which is a common runner's injury and didn't go away. And then I had it surgically removed. Now, fast forward six weeks later, it didn't heal. It kept on doing it. And so I felt like the surgery didn't work. And then I started questioning things. And I went to another foot surgeon. This guy really was different. And he thought outside of the box. And right at that same time, I started having a little tiny tremor in my left hand. And he noticed that all my surgeries were on my left side. And the tremor was in my left hand. So being an orthopedic surgeon, I was amazed. He saw me as a whole person, not just a foot. And he said, you know what, before I do anything, we're going to send you to a neurologist to just get you checked out, make sure there's nothing neurological. So I said, okay. I didn't think about anything, but he did want a brain scan. So I did get a little anxious thinking, brain scan, and a little bit of tremor, maybe it could be Parkinson's. My grandfather had Parkinson's. My mother, questionable. And so, it was in the back of my mind, but I thought I was way too young, and a lot of men get it. So it just didn't make sense to me. Then I found out they were just coming out with those DAT scans or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, DAT scan.
Yeah, DAT scan. And they didn't want that for me because they thought that the exam was enough. And then they ruled out it wasn't MS and it wasn't a brain tumor. They're like, oh, it's not brain tumor. It's not MS. But we think you have Parkinson's. Mm-hmm. And so I never knew much about Parkinson's. Like, I just think of my grandfather holding his glass and shaking the ice cubes. Like, that's all I thought about Parkinson's, and maybe Michael J. Fox. I didn't understand exactly how it affects you in so many ways of your life. So I didn't get that upset because I just thought, oh, I'll be all right. I'll deal with this. I didn't get too upset because I was clueless. I had no idea. It's just slowly when I digested it and started learning and reading, like, whoa, this is life-changing. This is, I can live with this, but I'll live differently,
Yeah, that's true. When I got the diagnosis, I was also very surprised. I didn't know anything about Parkinson's and I only knew the shaking and I didn't even have the tremor. But then I read about all the symptoms and I thought, well, I can check that. So there were many checking boxes I could do. So I thought, well, it might be true. And as you said, when it really sinks in what is coming or what might be coming next in your life, then it's really devastating in the beginning. Yeah.
But I still didn't want to be brought down. I am someone who tries to face things and fight. So I still was like, well, if there's a will, there's a way. I can deal with this, I think that was my attitude going in. And I think being an athlete, that did sort of color the way I approach things, just everything's a challenge.
Yeah, that was just my next question to ask you. Sport was and is always a very big part of your life. And as you said, sports is about competition and performance and motivation and endurance, of course. That can help living with Parkinson's even today, doesn't it?
I think it does. I think it helped mentally and physically because the mental part was that, okay, I might be down, but I'm not out yet, and you fight and you keep trying. You don't give up and you just keep trying. So that's kind of my mindset. I'm going to focus on what I can do. I'm just not going to try to get bogged down by what I'm not doing. And then the physical part was that I was in pretty good shape. And I heard you have to move a lot. And so what do I like to do? I like to move. I love to move. I love to play sports. I'm like, so if anyone has to get this disease, I'm a good person to get it. Right?
Okay.
Or if I have to get any good disease, maybe this is a good disease for me. Maybe it was a good fit, I guess. It kind of seems weird. It's kind of funny, right? So.
Yeah, that's very special. Yeah. I have seen you working out in the video you published in, I think, 2019. And you give very personal insights into your life and very emotional insights, of course, into your life and your family's life. Can you tell the listeners who might not know this video yet what it's about and what motivated you to release it?
Okay, yeah. So the movie or the video of the film, it's like 15 minutes long, and it's called Gotta Keep Moving. And I just had this idea that I wanted to kind of document what I could do. And I felt like I was doing pretty well with handling this disease. My progression was slow. And everyone was saying, you just got to motivate others to exercise. That's what you have to do. And so it was a combination of me wanting to help people who are newly diagnosed, because so many people, I think, are diagnosed older and they don't think about doing this kind of thing. But at any age, you got to keep moving. I actually was lucky enough to have 2 friends, they're sisters, that I grew up with. Their mom and my mom are best friends. And they became documentary filmmakers. So they're storyteller people that do documentary on people's lives. I talked to them about it, and they were excited and willing to do this for me. They agreed that they were going to create my story. We got some other people to help out and do some of the filming. I'm a social worker. That's my profession. It's that part of me that wants to reach out and help people if I can be helpful. There's part of me that wanted to document what I was able to do and see how long, can I live up to that? And so, yeah, that was the motivation behind it. I was thrilled when it was finished because these women are so professional, and I felt like it was such a well-done movie.
Absolutely, yeah.
The only problem is I can't really put it in film festivals or anything like that because I've put it on YouTube. I wanted to get it out there to help people. And I wanted to maybe do it at the Parkinson's, like one of the big world conventions. But you have to get it. I think it can't be 15 minutes long. And it takes so much money to edit it and time because it takes a lot to edit it down.
Yeah, true.
So it never got to that point. So I just put it on Facebook. I put it on all the sites, and I just shared it with the doctors and anyone I knew who I felt like could benefit from it. And I tell them to keep sharing it. And so I just feel like it's really gotten a lot of views.
I really think it's a great documentary, and it's very honest on the one side, but it's also very positive on the other side. Sometimes it's difficult to speak the truth. People who try to be positive to think, well, we can do it. But it's also important to say that some days are really hard with Parkinson's, and that this is also a part of the disease. But you can still find the power to go on the other side and go into the light and see the positive way. And this is really transported very well in the documentary. I think it's great. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad you feel that way. There have been things in my life since that documentary that have also changed. And again, it was a tough time, but things for me got a little bit better in my life as a result of that change. I mean, COVID happened, and then so my marriage fell apart. Both my parents got sick, very sick, and they're still, my mom 24/7 with care. So she needs a lot of help.
All right.
I mean, I've come a long way, and on the other side, I feel I'm very happy, and I'm spending much more time with this man who you met, Dave, who I met through Ping Pong Parkinson's. So he doesn't have Parkinson's, but it's someone who has really been able to help me embrace this disease and really is a wonderful person to help me go, I think, the next step of my life. And I'm feeling very fulfilled from that. So although there were some tough times, it's all become really positive again.
Yeah, of course. And as you mentioned, Ping Pong Parkinson's, you have been at the very first Parkinson's World Table Tennis Championships in 2019, which was organized by Nenad Bach, I think. And you were the winner in the women's singles, which is really great, I think. What is special about playing table tennis from your point of view?
Oh, I have always loved ping pong. I was a kid. I played with my father in the basement. That's how most Americans play ping pong. They start out in the basement with their family. I think in Europe they do it a lot on a more professional level, but ours is just like either it goes from ping pong in the basement to beer pong in the dormitories, colleges. It's just kind of a party sport. So I saw this opportunity. This is one of these really good exercises that I love to do. And I really liked, I was kind of pretty good because of the hand-eye coordination from tennis. And it's similar but very different. But I took my skills from tennis and I kind of put them into ping pong. And I had so much fun. The more I played, I just never got tired of it. And I physically never got tired doing it. So I play for hours and hours and hours. So it's one of these things like, oh, it's really good for you. Great. It's so much fun for me. I'm just going to do it as much as I can. And then I did work really hard on trying to take away the tennis and make it more of a table tennis stroke and all of that. And I've been able to do that much better now, even since you saw me, I think, last. But I have had to stop playing tennis, the game of tennis, which is sort of sad for me. It was harder and harder. I was having more falls on the court, and I said, this is not safe, and I didn't want to hurt myself. So I just said, okay, I substitute one game for the other,
It's always good to find a substitution for things we can't do anymore. There's one other part of your active life I want to talk about. You have been very active in Parkinson's Unity Walk events, and you have been doing it for many years. For people who don't know what these walks are about, can you explain it to us, and why do you participate every year?
Okay, so I found out about it right after I was diagnosed. I think I was diagnosed in March, and the first one was the next month, April. And it was right in New York City. It's a big event, really. So thousands of people come. They all go to Central Park, and it's like family members. I at first thought it was going to be all people with Parkinson's, but I was so wrong, because it's like there are definitely people with Parkinson's, but it's mostly their support network. So it's all the people who are their families and friends who come out and support them. And what you do is you basically walk as a team around 1.4 miles, not very far. But it's more the spirit that you feel, and you feel the spirit and support of everyone. You ask people to pledge money or donate money on your behalf. That goes all towards research.
Okay.
I really like this idea of like giving money to some place that's going to go toward research, because that, obviously is the hope for us, that something will come, either a cure or just helping live our lives a little better, right? Yeah. So I just did it, and the first year I really wanted to do it. I think in my video I told you that my daughter was turning 16 at the time, and it was the same day that it was scheduled for her birthday party. And I told her the situation. I said, like, could we just change the date of the birthday party to like the next day? Can we just switch it around? And she said, well, no. Why don't we just have my friends, instead of the party? My friends all go to the Unity Walk and we walk for you. I mean, that sounds so nice, but like, you're 16, you should have your own birthday party. And I told her to like think about it for a few days, and I would check back with her, and if she still really wanted to do it, then we would do it. And she said yes. Wonderful. I want to do it. So the first year was like all these 16-year-old girls. It was like 16 for Margie. I don't know. We had a different name. It was overwhelming because I had never seen anything like that, and it was a lot to manage, but I was so glad I did it. And each year I do it. Different groups of people, whether it's the people from my Ping Pong Parkinson's group, or people from where I work at school, or my older friends or college friends. I seem to have a lot of people who are willing to help me out, and I don't get any really huge donations like corporations or anything, but I get a lot of people from different parts of my life. I've managed to make a lot of money over the years. I think I hit over $100,000.
Oh, wow. That's really huge. Wow.
Not in 1 year, but 10 years altogether.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah.
So, and with COVID, we took a little time off, but we didn't, I think I didn't really do it as much, but this year we're back, and we were back at the Unity Walk, and it really was a Unity Walk for me this year, because my family has expanded. So it was me and my kids, the boyfriend and girlfriends, and my boyfriend Dave, and my ex-husband's girlfriend was there, and we all walked together. So we were all able to have like a meal together afterwards. I was like, wow, this is really unifying, that we can all be together.
That's true. Yeah.
Putting everything aside.
Yeah, wonderful. And as you were talking about your daughter, who really said on her 16th birthday that she wants to walk for you instead of having a party. So I was absolutely impressed. She seemed so strong and determined and cheerful. I often think how difficult it might be for our children having a parent with Parkinson's. And I also have children, and they are 9 and 12 years old, my boys. And I often worry about how my illness is affecting them. And I would like to ask you, do you think they can also take positive effects from the experience that their mom or